Hi guys, my name is Keith Glenn. If you hang out on statueforum.com, you'll know me as number 3 Bagshot Row. I'm also referred to as the Hobbit. So I've had a lot of requests to do a video of my collection in my man cave, so I thought I'd give it a shot. This is probably take number 4 because I haven't been very good at this. I'm going to start with a piece that my daughter drew for me. It's all the Peanuts characters as DC characters. We liked it so much that we had it framed and put over our living room sofa. And both my wife and I think it's pretty cool. Shows my daughter has got a lot of talent in how she does all this. So from here I'm going to take you to a display case I have in our family room. There's Sherman. Okay, this is my display case in our family room. Up on the top shelf I have some 3A pieces. Jesse and Walt from Breaking Bad, one of our favorite TV shows. Indiana Jones, Darth Vader, Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, and Marty from Back to the Future. My second shelf is all the Adam Hughes CoverGirls pieces. Poison Ivy, Power Girl, Supergirl, Hawk Girl, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Zatanna, Catwoman in the back, and Black Canary over on the right. I know there were a couple others in this series, but I wasn't as fond of them as I am of these. The third shelf is Johnny Quest kit that I had a guy by the name of Dave Lesko assemble and paint for me. You can find him on Facebook, does great work. And the other 3 are set from Cipriano Studios, done by Tony Cipriano of The Underdog series, cartoon I used to watch years ago. And then speaking of Tony Cipriano, this is a Calvin and Hobbes piece that he did for me, commission, one of a kind. Calvin and Hobbes is probably my favorite print cartoon. Love it. It's a very good, entertaining read. Next to that is The Incredibles. This is a Walt Disney Collector Club set. Incredibles is probably my favorite animated movie. One of these days I might have Ruben Procopio do Flash and Violet, the other 2 that are missing from this set. Over here, sort of hard to see in the reflection, are one of the later series of the CoverGirls, the DC Universe. The Stanley Lau design style. There's Wonder Woman in the back, Poison Ivy in the front, Catwoman, and Hawk Girl. They're very cool. I like these ones. Down the bottom are Hot Toys. We got Deadpool, Thor, Loki, Ant-Man, Iron Man. And on the back on the right, hard to see, is Black Widow, Red Skull, and Captain America. I've got space next to Ant-Man for Doctor Strange when he arrives. So this is my upstairs spot. I'm going to take you to the man cave. And going down the stairs on the left are some one-sheets. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Terminator down on the last one on the left. And then on the right-hand side I've got some comic things I got from, I can't remember if it was Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but it's something to put down the side until I find something else to replace them. So at the bottom of the stairs you'll see my Alex Ross original 7 Chiclet. Right next to that is a Jim Lee Superman for Tomorrow, and the XM Thor. This was the one that I liked the most out of all the quarter scale Thor statues, so picked this up, and boy are they expensive. Doubt I'll get very many more of those. I have an Eaglemoss collection of DC characters. And then below that I have some die-cast. Got the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, Black Beauty, Green Hornet, and Mach 5 Speed Racer, and the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Statues there, I've got Johnny Bravo. This is a commission piece I got years ago. Space Ghost. This is another Tony Cipriano statue. And then a DC Joker and Harley Quinn, taken after the Alex Ross drawing where he has that same pose. Over here I have Hot Toy Superman and Simpsons comic book guy. I used to have all the Simpsons Playmate single figures, but I sold them, but kept this one because it was most appropriate for my collection. And bottom shelf is the Calvin and Hobbes compendium. I have plenty of Marvel Omnibus books to keep me busy reading in my retirement. And then over here, got the Dragonfly from Johnny Quest, the NSCA Protector from Galaxy Quest. Great flick. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And then more books down here. The red set on the left is Don Martin from Mad Magazine. If you ever read Mad Magazine, his cartoons were extremely humorous. And then the set on the right is the Far Side. Could call it strange humor, but it's just very out there and funny. And all the other books I picked up over the years, I got the Walking Dead trade paperbacks, and just some other books that catches my fancy over the years. Over here is my, I'll call it a Batman corner. Got an Alex Ross Night Over Gotham piece. And this is a Jim Lee piece that matches, it's a matching set with the Superman for tomorrow. This is called Night Watch. Superman, or I'm sorry, the Sideshow Batman statue, and the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman statue. I also have, at the top I've got Christian Bale, Batman, and a Michael Keaton Batman. And I'll zoom in here a little bit closer to this insignia. It's got Bob Kane's autograph. Got the COA in the back. Pretty cool to have his, the originator of Batman. And I've got Adam West and Burt Ward. It's from the '66 Batman Hot Toy figures. And I've got the Batman TV show. Pick it out, watch it every once in a while. Over here I've got the '66 Super Elite from Hot Wheels, Batmobile from the '66 TV show, and the Bat Cycle. Some more books. These are more the DC side books. And then up here I've got a couple other die casts. One is the 89 Batman, or Batmobile, and the other one is a 55 Batmobile with a custom paint job. My daughter got this for me. Had a friend of mine who paints cars to do this custom treatment on the 55 Batmobile. Pretty cool. Like that Joker on the hood. Turning this way, I've got a Green Lantern commission piece by Al Rio. He is no longer with us. He died a few years ago. The statue below that is Green Lantern by Arahome from ARH Studios. Got that from him before he moved to the United States, back when he was from Brazil. It's a pretty nice piece. It's like one of 20. And then in here I've got an Eaglemoss Green Lantern set. And next to the Green Lantern piece I have an Emanuela Lupacchino drawing. I got this probably about 6 or 7 years ago when I first saw her artwork. I really liked it. She's in Italy, so she drew this for me and shipped it to me. Really like it. And then a little bit later she showed me that the image was used for this Spanish magazine called Dolman, which I think is the equivalent of Wizard in Spain. So that's a pretty cool piece of artwork that's on that my art's been used in publications. So that's sort of cool. This is Sideshow White Queen, and then below here is my Sideshow Disney pieces: Captain Hook, Evil Queen, Maleficent, and Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I really wish Sideshow could get back together with Disney and start doing some more quarter scale. They would be so cool. Down here is a set of books. These are all the artwork that Charles Schulz ever did for Peanuts. He used to do a daily 3-panel comic strip in the New York Times, and then on the weekend, usually Sunday, he would do a 6-panel larger comic in the New York Times. And this is a collection of all of them, and it goes from like 1950 to I think 2004, or no, take it back, 1999. So it's like 50 years of Charles Schulz work. Each one of those books is 2 years of Peanuts comics. Underneath these over here, I do have some Pops. I can't imagine any collector that doesn't have at least one. Got Elvira, Space Ghost, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Used to love that cartoon, that and Fractured Fairy Tales. And then I've got Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet and Robot B9 from Lost in Space. All things I used to watch a lot when I was younger. Over here, got a couple more pieces of art. Supergirl from Tom Grummett. He's a big DC artist of the past, and he does great work. This one over here is a Wolverine by Ardian Syaf, and those of you who follow the comic industry know that he's screwed the pooch on an X-Men Gold comic where he started putting some anti-religious stuff in his in the comics, and it was sort of hidden in t-shirts on some of the characters, and he lost his job over it. So he not sure what he's going to be doing with himself now. And here is my Marvel Eaglemoss collection. And down here is Sideshow Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator from Terminator 2. I'll back up a little bit here. Over here is my Millennium Falcon, made by Master Replicas. My other daughter bought me the case for this thing. She had it custom made for me, and it really makes it look really nice. One of my prized possessions, that and my Calvin and Hobbes piece. Behind it are some other statues I'll get to shortly once I get around that way. So over here, I've got some more Wolverine art. Wolverine is, I'd say, my Marvel favorite character. First one on the right there is by Elliot Fernandez, and the one next to it, the headshot, is by Tony Perna. Those of you who hang around in Statue Forum might know him because he hangs around there a lot. He does, right now he's doing some card art for, I can't remember the name of the company, but he's doing a whole set of card art, you know, trading card stuff. And then this one here is a combination of my two favorites, Green Lantern for DC and Wolverine for Marvel, drawn by Ron Lim and inked by Mark McKenna. Ron Lim did a lot of Silver Surfer stuff, and if you know a lot about the Marvel artists, he's a very popular artist. Down here I've got Sideshow's first Wolverine comic yet, if I'm not mistaken. I really have always liked this pose and like the statue. Next to it is a piece from the Civil War Marvel miniseries, done by an artist by the name of Chuco out of Mexico. I think I got this, I don't know, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think he made like 50 of them. So it's signed and pretty cool piece. I like it. Based after the Ramos artwork that Ramos did for Civil War. Down here is Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a sideshow premium format. Next to that is a John Wayne piece. I got that because it reminds me of the Sundays my dad and I used to watch the Westerns, and we always liked John Wayne stuff. I still like to watch John Wayne movies. Over here is He-Man from Pop Culture Shock. I used to watch that show a lot. And then next to that is Vampirella. And below here is the second sideshow Vampirella premium format and Lady Death. Yeah, it's interesting. I never have read any of the Vampirella or Lady Death comics. I just like the statues, and I'm sure you can understand why just by looking at them. Over here is a Avengers clock I got from my daughter. This is my daughter that did the artwork upstairs of the DC Schultz characters. Made out of an album, vinyl LP. Sort of cool. And I got this giant size X-Men comic. It's graded, so it's probably one of my prized comics that I have. Next to here, there's some Bowen characters. Juggernaut on the top, Action Thor in the middle, and Cable and Sentinel head. These are probably some of the better, in my opinion, Bowen statues. The Juggernaut has an issue with if you don't put it at the right height, you can't see the eyes. So if you put it down on a low shelf, you can't see them. That's why I have it up high. That's probably the only downside of that particular statue. The rest of them are very cool. Over here, got a set of IKEA Detolfs holding a lot of Tweederhead statues. This is the Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman and Robin statues from Tweederhead. I'm going to tout a lot about Tweederhead while I'm going through this because I think this is like the up-and-coming company. They are like right on track with Bowen Designs on some of the stuff that they're doing. Down here is the Yvonne Craig Batgirl. May she rest in peace. She died, if I remember correctly, earlier this year or late last year. Over here, this is Catwoman. This is the Julie Newmar Catwoman from the '66 Batman TV show. And then right down here is the Frank Gorshin Riddler and Vincent Price Egghead. All of these are from Tweederhead. And the Joker, the Cesar Romero Joker, is on its way, so I hope to have that soon. On the other side here, the company that called QMX that is doing 1/6 scale Star Trek. These guys are going to break me because they just announced a whole series of new Star Trek figures at the San Diego Comic-Con. Right here is Spock, Kirk, and McCoy. These are probably some of the best likenesses I've seen of anywhere, statues or action figures. So I'm real happy to have that. Over here is another Tweederhead piece. It's the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. Excellent likeness, in my opinion. One of my favorites from Tweederhead. Down here are some Hot Toys from The Force Awakens. We got Rey and BB-8, Kylo Ren, and Han Solo as a old man like me. And then over here is a character called Mandy. Back in the day, I used to sneak around and read Playboy. Sorry, Dad, if you get and Mom, if you listen to this. Anyways, this was a character that was in every month's Playboy. The two on the left are Anders Ehrenborg, who did those two on the left, and the one on the right is done by Tracy, I can't remember his last name, from Electric Tiki. They're based on the artist, his name is Dean Yeagle, and very cute, very sexy. Down here, Another Tweeterhead piece, Elvira. I used to watch this show late on Saturday night where they always did a horror show. And she always came in the middle in commercials. Talked about the show and the products they were pushing. The one next to it is another Vampirella statue from Claiborne Moore. Okay, turning around. This is my Star Wars collection. It is mostly Gentle Giant and Hot Toys figures. And it's also predominantly the original trilogy. So up here is the Bespin Luke from Empire Strikes Back. Very cool, it's even missing the hand. And up here is Darth Vader as the Gentle Giant statue, as is the Rancor beast with his handler, the Sand Trooper on Dewback, and the Sand Person. Called them Sand People, I'm not sure what you call an individual one. Sand Person? Sand Guy? On a Bantha. And then down here are all these Gentle Giant minibus. I think they're very cool. I see that Gentle Giant's likenesses on human figures are not always right on. Some are good, some aren't. But the creatures and the Empire's uniform guys are pretty good. Yeah, so these are all Gentle Giant minibus. Very cool. Down the next shelf. And then we got some Gentle Giant statues. And now I get down to some of the Hot Toys 6-scale figures. I'm real happy that they announced the Jedi Luke and the Endor Luke and Leia. So they'll be on my order list. Darth, Obi-Wan, and Yoda. Han Solo and Chewie. I do have the Han Solo and Stormtrooper disguise on order. And then over here is the last of the Hot Toys that I got. So that's my Star Wars collection. I do have a lightsaber in working order. Over here, I just got this last week. I've been a big Harry Potter fan, but I've never really bought anything collectible related to Harry Potter. I know there's a lot of 1/6 scale figures. But this was bought at the Universal Studios, one of the stores called Ollivanders. And this is all the wands of what's called Dumbledore's Army. Harry Potter, Hermione, Ron, Ginny Weasley, Neville Longbottom, and Luna Lovegood. I thought it was good. I mean, it's not a limited edition collectible like most of my other stuff is, but it's still a good representative collectible of something that I like, Harry Potter. All right, over here, a DVD case. And over here on the right is Electric Tiki. Did a lot of old cartoon statuettes. Bullwinkle Rocky, Popeye, and Woody Woodpecker. And on the left is a statue of Betty Page, as is the mini bust is also Betty Page. For those of you who don't know who Betty Page is, she was like one of the first pinups in the photo world, or just in general. During World War II, a lot of the planes had Betty Page pictures on the nose cones of the planes, and supposedly good luck. Anyways, Betty Page was cool, and these are nice statues and sexy. The girl in the back in the champagne, this is another Playboy thing. It's called Femlin. She was always drawn in Playboy in little not like a full page thing, but she was like little art pieces on the borders or hidden in various pictures. And since that was part of my growing up years, I could pick that up. The other one in red is Sinful Lady. I saw this years ago by a sculptor by the name of Gary Ham. Thought it was cute and sexy, and I picked it up. I haven't seen him do any other work. I've looked for him on Facebook and haven't been able to find him to see if I could see if he's going to do any more work. Over here, again, I'm going to tout Tweeterhead. This is the Munster set. I don't know what else I can say about how good these things are. They are so detailed and accurate that I don't see anybody could top these things. They had two sets. They had the black and the white, and they had color. I chose the black and white because that's the way they originally were shown, was in black and white. And here's another little trivia tidbit. If you look at the clock, you see it says 7:30. That was the time the show came on. So they really got down to details on this show, or on these statues. And I picked up a couple more die casts to go along with it. This is the Dragula. And over here is the Munsters coach. Pretty cool. Not quite in scale, but I think it adds to the display. Down here, as I said, Green Lantern is probably one of my favorites. The statue on the left is by Hallamau. It was not a commission piece, but it was a 1 of 20 piece. The ring and the lantern both light up. I don't have it hooked up yet, but it looks pretty cool when it's lit up. The piece of art behind it is another Alex Ross piece, similar to the original 7 and the Night Over Gotham. It's called Green Lantern Mythology. Thought it went well with the Green Lantern statue. In the middle there's Batman and from the Batman vs. Superman movie and Superman from Man of Steel. I got a space save there for the Wonder Woman Hot Toy statue when it comes. And this is the Sideshow Green Lantern that I preferred. The Green Lantern lights up. It's not quite as nice as the Hallamau, the way it lights up, but it still works. And the other one, the big DC Green Lantern power battery, it lights up with the little ring that's to the bottom right. If you touch that to the glass in the lantern, it lights up. But touch that glass with anything else and it won't light up. So some kind of transponder or something they got set up to make that work, which is sort of cool. And when you light it up, it stays on for about 30 seconds, then it goes off. Down here is Aquaman. This is the classic look, which I prefer. Sort of matches the look of the Aquaman on the original 7 from Alex Ross. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of stand back and give you a look of the man cave from the front of the man cave. All my statues and artwork. I'm really starting to be a little bit more choosy because of space issues. Although the wife has given me permission to start putting some stuff upstairs in like the living room, so I might get a display cabinet and put some stuff up there. So this is what it looks like when I'm standing in the front of my man cave. So now I'm going to go back here and face the front of the man cave, and this is the part that I'm most proud of, is all my Bowen Designs pieces. I really like Bowen's work. He has so accurately portrayed the comic characters in the comics that is what I like out of them. And in the middle is the Sideshow Trinity, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. So let me get some close-ups of the Bowen statues. The left one is all X-Men stuff. And the Jubilee is a Kotobukiya piece, a Bijujo, because Bowen never did get around to doing a Jubilee piece before he went on a pause. More X-Men. Threw a couple of villains in on this shelf. So I got some villains in on this shelf. Next shelf over, I got some Iron Man, Moon Knight, Ultron, and War Machine. This is some X-Men and miscellaneous characters. And this one down here I call my Avenger shelf. Yes, I know I don't have every Avenger, but looks good enough to me. Over here on this shelf, all this my heroes. And then down here, I call this the villain shelf. And then down here is my Spider-Man villains. Yeah, I know I got Green Goblin and Hobgoblin up a shelf, but there wasn't room for them on here, so this is the way it is. And then to the right of this shelf, it's hard to see because of the reflection. You know what, let me turn off the lights here. See if that helps any. It's a Jim Lee Heroes piece. Didn't really help. And then down here is my Master Replicas Enterprise. I need to get a case made for this. And I also need to get electricity hooked up underneath this thing so I can light up my Millennium Falcon and all the details in the middle. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tour. As any collector knows, your collection is always growing, and you got to try to fit it in with what you got, or expand, or sell, or whatever the case may be. But I enjoy it, and I've enjoyed interacting with a lot of people all over the world on the internet that have similar hobbies. So have a good one. Hope to see you sometime in person, which would be really cool. Take care.